to the NSL Offseason podcast.
I'm Caleb Freeland. We're still recording these casts here, trying to talk a little bit to everybody about the last season. So let's get right into this one. I got Bert with me. Bert, thank you so much for hopping on with me.
Man, I'm so happy that you asked me, to be honest. So no, always nice to see you and happy to be on there. So you can shoot. I have a feeling that my camera is very blurry, or is it okay like this?
I think it looks good. I can't see anything there. But
hey Caleb, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing wonderful. I say we just had a huge season. 2023. I mean, what? It's only this. It's just up from here, right?
It is. The hardest thing is starting. So in the way of how everything went. I mean, the first two seasons. Well, the first American season, but last year or the year before we had the European season too. Yeah, and it's like raising a baby, you know. You need to get all the diseases out and everything, and it will never work, you know. It's always there. But yeah, the first 2 seasons are finished, and from here on, I think it's a grown-up sport now that can walk on himself with a good leader, and that's on this moment. It's fives, as you all saw on the announcement. I will always be the backup. I will always be there to back him up. Well, you don't have to ask me the questions. No, they are already there. So, do you want to ask something about this?
Well, I would say you kind of brought it up. I mean, what is it like to go through this? Because this, according to this, you started in 2018, nourishing this child. 5 years. I mean, 6 years. What's like the highs and lows of going through this? Because it's no easy feat. That's got to be for certain.
The highs is cheering people. The lows is losing a lot of money. So it's the only thing I did is really that airsoft needed a sport, a competitive sport, and as everybody know, well-respected Speaker B, I started to bring it to Europe, and just put a little bit different flavor on there, and then, yeah, it's their baby. They have their vision, and I have my vision, and just we decided that they're gonna raise their baby, and I'm gonna raise my baby, and NSL came there, and yeah, it was 2 seasons ago, last year. So March last year, 2022, we started the first one, and yeah, we had some experience, but it was a completely different setup, and it's not that easy, and it's hard to get it done, and especially if you get hit by COVID, if you get hit by everything, in from 2020 until 22 almost, and yeah, it wasn't easy, but I had all the trust that this is something that I think that could bring competitive airsoft on a different level. And yeah, most important thing, Caleb, is creating that team around you that has that same vision. Because, well, you were in Europe and you were on a few American events, and you see it's so much work and so much hours are in there, and that team, it's going from, if it's Dion or Jules or Aaron or Refs or Harold, or it doesn't matter what, or the cameraman Camille, it's all in there, and you are a part of it last, but it all needs to sync, it all needs to get one big picture, and on the end, making that is a big decision, because you have to start from zero, because it was just an idea that you need to launch into the market, and I think that team did an amazing job, and I tried to lead it, and I just wanted to have my vision on the screens, in the fields with the teams. And I think it's there because if you see the players, how they are playing now, the age of the players and teams, and you see, I mean, I'm not getting younger. I mean, well, when I'm on the field and when I'm seeing that and I see those cheering, I'm feeling young, but I'm very proud of what I'm seeing because that was the thing I see. But you want to go. It's a different age world, because what we created is actually for younger people, and I still have a very young active mind. I like thinking in young people's mind. Sports, it's like well, forgive me for every English word, because sometimes I really translated Dutch words into English words and it doesn't sound nice, but it's but yeah. So the moment was there. The last global championships was for me like, okay, this is the moment that I need to step back and give the younger generation the chance to fine tune it or put it a little bit to their hand. And I want, of course, I'm always on the background, and I'm always trying to give my support on everything, but I don't want to do the daily business and that kind of things. It's for me, when I want to come to the arena next time or to any event, I want to enjoy it. I want to sit there. I don't want that Bert this and Bert that. I just want to enjoy what we created, and I really hope it's and there is no one better than Aaron Fives to lead this thing, because we were sitting from day one together to build this and create this, and actually it's his baby too. So yeah.
Well, since you mentioned it a little bit, just watching in the future seasons, I wanted to ask, like, how's your viewpoint? Because I just want to focus on you specifically just a little bit. Is how's your viewpoint in particular going to change now that you're essentially, I mean, like, getting to enjoy that spectator side of it more so, and just enjoy what's come to fruition from this?
How I'm gonna enjoy this, or how gonna
how are you experiencing NSL now that you're not grinding things out in the background?
I don't know yet, because the last experience I had was still I was still there on a leading. Well, I was still on that spot where I was a part of the organization, and with the refs and with Aaron, etc., etc. So it's going to be next season. It's going to be the first one, and there's not many sports, and a lot of people know I like American football. I like Formula One. Well, Formula One is number one, but no other sport that keeps me in my seats or sitting for a long time to watch and that gets me entertained. And NSL gives me that feeling that I just want to sit and watch and look the strategies that every team has and put it in my mind, because that's my own chess thing, because I see those teams playing and I actually really, really know the strategies they are building, and I like seeing them changing. I like seeing how they need to anticipate on a different breakout, or how they need to anticipate on time pressure, and that's what I love. That's how I experience this sport. It's NSL is so, it's not just shooting. It's like Formula One. Everybody thinks like Formula One is just driving around, but it isn't. It's tactics. It's all about when do we going to do the pit stop, how much fuel we have, what kind of tire we're going to use, do we going to have a lot of downforce or not, and that thing is the same that I feel when I watch NSL, is that you see the teams who are really on top, that you see them engineering their team on the moment when they are in the death tunnel, to say, okay, we have to change this or we have to change that. And you see that when they're getting onto the field. I see directly when somebody from, not all the teams of course, but with some teams that I really watch well, that I see, they bring this one. So that's new. So this is how I see it, and this is how I enjoy it.
Yeah, and you talk about engineering the teams, but like even you engineered products to inspired by all the things you mentioned. You mentioned Formula One, and I feel like that's a direct correlation to your belts, because like, you know, pistol, just grab, and then you swap out your gear and stuff. So I think that's kind of cool, interesting take on it. Also, you are now spectating. Are you looking out for any particular teams? Because everybody has a favorite team. I have a favorite team. I'm not even trying to hide it.
You're the Terranite boy.
I am.
Of course, everybody has that, and I think a lot of people knows that. But of course, I mean, I sponsored them for many years, and they started with me, so I feel a part of the team, and it's going to be hard in the upcoming years. But yeah, it's the way how they anticipate on the game and how they attack the game, how they read the game. Yeah, it's because people who are playing and they're working for me too. So it's a win-win, and second to none is I can say it now loud and clear, because without getting, but it's not, everybody knows that, and my relationship that I have with Dimi and with Thomas is very close, because we see each other many times for work, but they gave everything. They changed it. They showed the world. If second to none were not there, I think we had a different level of gameplay, or I think sport, because they push the standard right there, and that's the standard on this moment, and you have to fulfill that standard. I mean, 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, they had all championships that were that you could win. It was the season championship, it was the pro championships, it was the European championships, it was the globals. Now all the championships they could win, included with Thomas and Dimi, the Nations Cup. I think that's putting the standard of a sport. So yeah, but I cannot say that I don't like. I cannot say that there are many teams I really like. You know, I mean, there are teams that if they play, my heart is gonna go a little bit faster. And I have that with a few teams where you say like, oh yeah. But the question was, which one do you adore the most, or not adore, you favorite the most? Yeah, I have to say second to none, because they gave a lot to me.
They are a very special team, and I think in time people will come to realize what really was going on these last 5-7 years. And even touching a little bit more on that, just in the life of Airsoft, Speedsoft, just like in anything, you have eras where things are developing. Like if you put this into a history book, you know, the first era was Speed QB, just like kind of putting the groundwork for everything that we have for Speedsoft now, and then you guys coming in and putting the NSL in there, and then even looking within that, like these last 5 to 7 years, you have the Demi and Elias era where, you know, they were really impacting the game. So like you're gonna be talking about this in 10 years time and be like, yeah man, that kid there, he's got a lot of Demi passion in him. You can see him, he's playing just like they did back in the day. And you know,
exactly.
There's a permanent impact that's happening right now with these guys that are laying the groundwork for, you know, something that's going to be really big. It already is really big. I mean, it's just, you know, keep climbing, and we'll see where we land.
The hardest thing is getting on the top, but the most hardest thing is staying on the top. You know, it's going to be a hard time in the upcoming years. Second to none, without the Morales brothers, you know, it's going to be hard, and nobody knows who's going to stay or who's going to. It's going to be a hard time, but I still believe that second to none will always be a special team, and I will do everything on that to and that's as a sponsor way. I will always do my best to give them the full support that they need.
Yeah, I think from a commentator's perspective, and the drama aspect of it, with Demi and Elias heading out, a lot of people are like, here's our chance, but then the rest of the second 10's like, nah, we're keeping things strapped down. This is still our territory. So
to be honest, that was for me, it was like I was sitting in the VIP box, and I was really hoping that those guys, they had a hard time. They had a hard time on the globals without those two, without Dimi and Elias. And you saw it the first day in the morning, the first games, they were searching, and there was a moment where they said, "It's not going to happen. This is not going to happen to us." And with a speech, Dimi came over in the afternoon. He gave them a speech. He gave them, I think, a positive speech, but that doesn't help. You have to do it on the field, and they just found it. They found the trust, and they found the commitment, and I think they had the same Lions heart. They're like, we need to nail this. If there is one chance to do it for us, this is the moment too. So and they grabbed it, and that was amazing for them.
Well, for sure. And of course, from anybody that doesn't understand, just to put a little bit of recap on that situation, what a lot of people don't know is that Second to None picked up a lot of Reapers players, and even I'm trying to think of the name of the team, their old school team name. They're one of McSwain's boys.
Legion.
They also picked up a player or two from Legion. So going into globals, it was a lot of guys that are talented by the papers. Like, their stats are phenomenal, but you just put them with people that they haven't been training or playing with for a long time. And so those first few games were those training ones for them to figure out what they had to do to work together.
I promise you this. Kyle, the one who came over for Legion and helped them out, I still don't think he understands the rules, but it was just they needed his. He needed to be there to make that point. McSwain, he's playing already for more than a year, and he knows his job. He knows when our German Shepherd, he's like a German Shepherd, and Dimi's saying like, okay, you keep that thing. He's not moving. He stays like that, and he's not moving. It doesn't matter what's happening behind him.
So you're saying the Legion guy's just a hired gun, though? He's just go kill people.
Yeah, no, that's the job. That's the job when you do Formula One and you are there. Can you imagine that you have a full-time job just for only 2 seconds in a weekend? For you, the only thing you need to do is get the tire off and nothing more. You're the one who's getting the tire off, and somebody else is putting the tire on. And that's sport. You're a part of a team, and that team. And what I want to say is, like, you need leadership in a team and to bind the team. And I think Kyle was the person who did the bonding, for the globals on that moment that normally Dimi is doing. And but he did a great job, and they did a great job. And again, I don't want to underestimate. I mean, it was a hard time. I mean, they played against the Saviors. The Saviors, they had a really positive and a good year last year. And they were growing. They were hungry. And to be honest, I was like, ooh, is this gonna happen or is it not gonna happen? Do they make it? And yeah, they picked up some players, but it was definitely a mindset that's switched because they all have quality. I mean, come on, let's be honest. Rebel. I mean, there is no. I mean, that pistol player is one of. I mean, if you see Bente. When he goes in the snake, and every time when he goes in the snake, that foot is going to push him much further into the snake. The athletic
athleticism.
Yeah, it's a team.
Absolutely. Well, we got about 10 minutes left, so there's a few things I really want to dig into. So, first thing before we transition out of this is, what was your favorite game of the 2023 season? Because I mean, you've seen a lot, all the games in the US, all the games in Europe at Real Strike, and did you go to Raptor Arena as well?
Yes, I did. I went to all except Indiana. So
that's a big question because that's a lot of games.
I know, because if you ask me about grabbing a moment, grabbing emotion, grabbing that I think the moment was. Oh, there were so many moments, but there were little moments. There were attacking moments. But one moment I never forget was Rhode Island finals, East Coast Energy versus Elite.
That's a special moment.
That was a moment like that moment. What the expression on their face, what they did. That was something that still gives me goosebumps. That's where you do it for. You want that. That's the reaction. And from the other side, you saw the losing team. You saw the emotions too. It's like, because that's where you go for. It's not just a game you play. You play a sport. And if you ask me for a moment, that moment when the buzzer went and they were champion and everybody was connected there. I saw Lenny, I saw Danielle jumping in the back. I saw them going wild. That was like, this is sport. This is where you do it for. So yeah, that was a special moment.
I was trying to find a clip of it, but I know they came out with champagne too, which was like, oh, that was so cool.
Yeah, and the moment when Zeus went on his knees crying and that was. And again, I saw that a few times, many times with Second to None too, because that's the good thing with Second to None. They always are motivated and happy when they win the championships. But that thing, 2023, that was the moment.
Well, that's awesome, man. It was huge because like it felt like that's where everything came together. You had the entire season wrap up, the regular season, and then we went into the championship, and a team that was really dominant, elite through the whole thing, finally got overturned. So there's also that dramatic energy going into this aspect as well. And it was just like people were biting their nails on their toes, and everybody watching, wrapping around the arena, and just the chaos that was unfolding. The plexiglass, just hear the go 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 from people banging on it, and all the teams. I thought this was really respectful too. All the teams stayed and watched the finals, and I think that speaks volume to the community as well.
100%.
So, with that being said, let's hop over to our second to last item. We have dates for the 2024 season. This is awesome. We got a lot to unpack. We're not going to unpack it here, but do you know if there's any of these that you're going to try and make it out to, since you're not working?
I'm definitely going to be at some. I'm definitely going to be at some, especially the American Championships, Globals, Nations Cup. I'm trying to be at some seedings, but it's amazing that, again, it was for me. It was too much because we need to get focused to make this all work. And Aaron had a vision. We had a vision, and he solved this on a really nice way to say, okay, let's get together with the teams. And I know maybe with the organizers, and especially for America, creating an East Side and an East Coast and a West Coast thing, and you are still free to go wherever you want. I think they did an amazing job for there. If you see now with the pro division, with that's going to be something special. That's going to be something special too, where you see the top 8 teams playing, and I'm looking forward to this to season 2024 as a visitor, not being there and doing things, just joining, enjoying the games.
Yeah,
man, the pro series.
That's huge. I don't. Let's say there's not been like an official press release aside from the post, so it's like people are like, oh, what's that? What's going on? But yeah, the Pro Series, man, that's awesome. There's
It's not up to me to explain this all. I think you need to get Fives in there. He will explain you that on a perfect way. But I like it was in my head, and it needed to be executed, and he's going to execute it on a very good level. And this is going to be something really special. And I give him all the honor to explain the world how it's going to be.
Well, I think it's something to drive a little hype to make them wait to figure it out. So, but it's gonna be cool. That's because I don't know the full details either. So, I wanted to follow up with one last question, and I wanted to give you a decent amount of time to answer this one. I feel like this is a very big deal. You talked about it a little bit, you've kind of sprinkled it through our conversation here, but you had mentioned this is a future generation, a young generation's game. To get people involved. So, if you were to pitch the NSL to people that, the next generation, or people that play airsoft now or speedsoft of some form, can you talk about like the travel, the connections, the gameplay to these future players that are maybe on the fence or just watching, and to give them the know that they can play in this league? What would you say to them?
I have to split this in two stages. If that is okay with you?
Yeah.
The first stage is the young kids, and because they are not allowed to make these big decisions, so I want to concentrate my attention to the parents. That a lot of parents don't see any. Well, they see their kids playing on PlayStation, sitting on the laptop or iPad, and there are not many sports, only like soccer or football, that you can play online. But the most kids are playing Call of Duty, and they want to have something that's connected to that. And I think this is the most. Yeah, it really is the same level, and it's amazing if you can support your kid in something that he really likes behind a computer. And if you see financially, if you do a normal sport or different, it's doable. Of course, it's not a cheap sport, but parents, if your kids are a gamer and they show you attention to play on a competitive airsoft game or speedsoft game, support them, go and watch them, but don't watch how they get hurt, but watch their expression, watch their joy, watch them grow into the sport, because the kids want to play it. But I think as a parent, please do everything and give it a try. I mean, you can put them on guitar lessons, you can put them on drumming lessons, you can put them on tennis lessons. It's all costing money. But if your kid feels this, take it serious, because kids see this as a sport. That's my first thing. So I hope that I can get some parents over the line, because I think a lot of talents are there, and they cannot decide because they don't have the money and they don't have the decisions to make that. So that was my first part.
Yeah, it's hard to break that entry, is I feel like what you're trying to say, and it's the parents that have to help them get that first step in.
Exactly. And then from the others is like, if you like to play a game, go and do some airsoft. If you want to play a sport and you really want to get connected, go and visit a location where like SCA or Sac County or Extreme Airsoft. Go and talk with them, because they are open, and they are open to talk to you. If you don't have a team, maybe they can put you to a team. But you will not have in the upcoming 10 years a possibility to grow a sport like the NSL, how it's now. So you can be a part of the future of airsoft/speedsoft. And if you like playing tactics, if you like shooting other people, and you'd like to do it with a strategy, like, okay, I need to shoot him to get 1 more point or 2 more points, but not because I shoot him, but because I have to get my target against the other team. There's no more exciting sport in this than on this moment playing NSL.
I think that's very well said. Well, we are out of time, so Bert, thank you so much. If there's any one last thing you want to throw in, definitely.
One last thing, because I know it has nothing to do with NSL, but NSL Speedsoft is just a niche. It's just this part of much bigger. So I think it's 5% or 4% of maybe 1% of the airsoft. So airsofters, they can have competition too. And one of why I'm stepping back from NSL is that I want to focus on that and create a competition for airsoft, for the airsofters on CKB level, and that has gonna be the same thing than this, but it's two complete different sport, because that is more a gaming / reality sport, and this is sport. So I hope next year that we can surprise you with some cool, because content is king. That's what I always say. Content is king. And I think that the sport, you grow the sport, you show the people what we are doing. And I think that's one of the most important things we did in the last years. Showing people what is Speedsoft, what is NSL, what is PKB, what are CSL, what is it? Show the people, and then you get more traction. And yeah, that was my last thing.
I mean, it's airsoft. We're shooting plastic BBs. It's one of the funnest things you can do. But yeah, I'm so excited to see what unfolds in 2024 season, but also just going forward. So thank you, Bert, so much for hopping on here and sharing a little bit of your story and your vision for NSL, but just airsoft in general. Yeah,
I want to thank you for having me, and good luck. And I'm gonna definitely see you in one of the new events on the new season. So
right on.
That was a break on. That was a breakup. So you didn't hear me now, did you? So
no.
I'm gonna see you somewhere.
My camera is freezing, but I still hear you, and so I don't know why that's doing that. So I'll get it sorted out.
I wish you good luck. I wish you the best, and I'm gonna see you on one of the events on 2024. Love you, and speak to you soon, my friend.
Alrighty, and thank you guys for watching as well. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Follow this guy.